Google says that it has no plans for such a restructuring, arguing that the integrated development between the chip team and the Gemini model team allows for tighter hardware software co design, a legitimate advantage. Still, the fact that this conversation reoccurs signals that the company recognizes the structural ceiling that its current organization creates. Let's also talk about the manufacturing bottlenecks and the TSMC queue. Now, compelling hardware specifications mean little without the ability to produce at scale. Google partners with Broadcom on the TPU design and relies on TSMC for the fabrication. Both relationships create dependence that financial investments cannot easily resolve. TSMC's advanced packaging and process node capacity is currently under enormous strain from the AI related demand. Nvidia is TSMC's single largest customer and by extension receives preferential allocation when the capacity is tight. For a challenger that is attempting to ramp volumes, this creates a structural bottleneck. TrendForce projects that Google's TPU shipments will remain the highest among the cloud service providers that provide custom silicon, with over 40% annual growth expected in 2026. But the highest among custom silicon producers still represents a fraction of Nvidia's total GPU output. So, what can be said is that Google cannot will its way past the foundry constraints, and the financial backstops that it is offering to the neocloud partners assume that sufficient hardware will be available to deploy. The demand signals have been encouraging but uneven. The customer evidence is real but mixed. Anthropic has committed to assessing up to 1 million TPU chips through Google Cloud, and its head of compute has publicly endorsed Ironwood's price performance characteristics. The broader Anthropic Fluidstack relationship reportedly involves a $50 billion infrastructure partnership to build custom AI data centers. The first phase of the TPU arrangement alone is estimated to cover 400,000 Ironwood chips. Meta also explored TPU adoption but subsequently deepened its commitment to Nvidia with purchasing plans valued in tens of billions of dollars. When we talk of OpenAI, it has pursued a multi-provider strategy, signing capacity agreements with AWS, Oracle, Google, Microsoft, and several neoclouds, but Nvidia GPUs remain its primary training hardware. These decisions underscore a recurring dynamic. Companies may express interest in diversification, but Nvidia's software ecosystem makes switching very costly. As we wrap up this video, let's look at what the 320 billion capex cycle is telling us. The context for Google's TPU push is a hyperscaler capital expenditure cycle of extraordinary scale. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta collectively spent an estimated $320 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025, with most forecasts pointing to continued growth. This is the environment creating the opening for neoclouds and by extension for alternative chip architectures. However, what we have to keep in mind is that the same capital intensity that creates opportunity also creates bargaining power. Nvidia's largest customers are the hyperscalers themselves, and their willingness to commit tens of billions to Nvidia hardware each quarter reinforces the GPU ecosystem's dominance. Custom silicon from Google, Amazon, and others is widely expected to capture 15 to 25% of the AI accelerator market by 2030, concentrated primarily in the internal inference workloads rather than third-party training. Now, for Google, the question is whether the TPU adoption can move beyond the captive internal use and anchor demand at external partners, creating a self-sustaining ecosystem rather than one that requires continuous financial subsidy. AlphaChip, Google's reinforcement learning system for chip layout design, has been used on the last 3 TPU generations, including Ironwood, giving the company a feedback loop between the AI research and its hardware program that no other chip challenger can replicate. Now, whether that loop generates enough gravitational pull to attract external customers at scale is a multi-billion-dollar question.